All right, recording.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Village Board meeting of the Village of East Aurora, July 6, 2026, regular meeting. We'll start with a pledge. Anyone who is able and willing to join, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Lizikis. Trustee Cameron. Here. Trustee Bojanowski.
Here.
Trustee Camp.
Here.
Trustee Vijay. Here. Trustee Root. Here. Mayor Wachinski.
Here.
6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. We do not have any public hearings on the agenda for today, so we'll go right into speakers and communications. At this point, anybody can come forward to talk about any issue on the agenda. So agenda items only. We are looking to have a maximum of 3 minutes. So if anyone has any issues to talk about on agenda items, please come forward. If you have other business, that will be later in point 8 towards the end of our agenda.
Good evening. My name is Saxon Deck. I live here in East Aurora on Maple. I wish to speak regarding the rezoning for the lot up on Quaker Road for housing. And I would just like to say that these days I'm very impressed by the caliber of our Board of Trustees. And I think that certainly it is within your purview to do a little more research and find a manufacturing business or a business other than housing setting away back from that road, that finally that we have the brains, if you will. Although we had good people before, I think you are a little more creative now and able to do a little research in the years to come and to keep that as a manufacturing or a business space. And I do not think that it is suitable for housing. It's a way back off the road. It's not walkable. And I am in disagreement of that being changed, that zoning being changed. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Polly Gowanlock. I believe that the place that at 270 Quaker would be an adequate space for the apartments for seniors that do not qualify for the low housing senior apartments that you have. You have several of those here in East Aurora. If I didn't put all of my income down, I would qualify to go to Maple or somewhere, but I won't cheat somebody else out of an apartment that can't afford it because some of my income is non-taxable and I don't have to report it anywhere. So I think that it's a good idea for these apartments, and I think that Young Development has done a great job of proposing this for those of us that are getting older and cannot walk stairs, cannot do a lot of things that we used to be able to do when we were your age. You know, we need a place where we can go to live and have that available to us that make over $40,000 a year. I think that's what the income level is for the low-income housing. It's somewhere around 40 or 41,000. Well, if you make over that, you're out of luck as far as having a decent apartment to live in. I love where I'm at now, but as I get older, I'm not going to be able to climb those stairs to get to my porch and to get into my house, my apartment, you know. So we need these apartments. And those that oppose, they apparently haven't given it a whole lot of thought, because eventually they're going to have to move out of their homes too, and they're going to need a place to go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name's Joanne Ryan, 211 Porterville Road. With the apartments, the 270 Quaker, I agree that there should be some apartments, but I think the number is way out of control. I'm concerned about the traffic in that area. I can't imagine what that would be like. I think also, just from experience with Zero Pine Street, what went on over there, you know, we're going to save trees, and there was no traffic study per se. I think that we need to kind of look at this a little bit more, look at the traffic, because of the fact that you've got now Mill Road, you've got Reed in there, you've got a post office that is extremely busy, you've got, again, the polo grounds, and now you're going to have all of these apartments. The number is out of control. I think we could maybe split that maybe a quarter, like have some of these apartments, but the amount is ridiculous. I feel like we are going back into the city. The other issue that it is I feel like the builders that are coming into the village are not following what we want with our village. We have small signs in our village. That's important. Some of these houses that are going up are out of control. They're so big, et cetera. I think that we should look at the aesthetics of what this looks like. So my advice would be to, look at this and then limit it. I think just the amount is just out of control. But I think that having some of these apartments is a good idea, because I do agree that we need some more senior housing in East Aurora, but the amount is too much. You should really have them do some more studies, make sure that there's traffic, et cetera, and pedestrian walking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And preserve the trees.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Marge Cowder. I live right here in the village on 144 West Fillmore Avenue, right near Parkdale School. I have lived in that house for 50 years. Leaving it is something I know I have to do now, but it's going to be very hard for me and for my family. And if I have to leave East Aurora too, that is going to be really heartbreaking. And all I have to say to everybody else is, if not these apartments, where? There is nothing else in this village, any area, where they can actually build it. You say that the place on Oakwood is not ready to have anything built on it. So my biggest question is, where then? Where do we get to move? Do we all have to leave East Aurora? I've probably been in this village longer than any of you have been, and it just isn't fair that now, when I want to stay, I'm not able to. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carol Beach. I spoke the last time. My feelings haven't changed. I understand why someone would worry about traffic. However, it's about balancing and priorities. We have human beings who need places to live of that kind, where we have showers where we're not going to fall and break a hip, geared to the senior citizens. I think I noticed this week that there's a crosswalk just after Mill Road. I live just up the hill on Mill Road. And yesterday I noticed that now there are big signs for walking and slow down and all that. And I thought, well, that's a move in the right direction. And actually, I thought that was up to you. I was singing your praises. We have these new signs.
Right.
Anyway,
I'll take credit for that, even though I had nothing to do with it. Yeah.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. You all know I'm one of the members of the Senior Center, and along with quite a few other people here. And this has become a big topic of conversation. I would say that 95% support it, and 5% would agree with this nice lady who just spoke. So I had a funny little story. Donna Bodecker thought that she would like to write a letter, and she approached me and she said, well, I can't write a letter because of my position in the senior center. And she said, would you be willing to put your, would you do that? And I said, sure, I'll do that. Well, I mentioned it, you probably got my daughter's letter. I mentioned it to my daughter, who of course grew up here. And, oh, Mom, no, you let me do it. I'm your daughter. Let them know that the next generation are watching them and seeing what they're doing, which, that's my Laura, that's just how she is. Anyway, I know you have a big decision to make. Maybe you've already made it. I appreciate all the time and effort that you people put in. I know it's a big job to be on a board like this. And I just want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Sure.
May I speak again?
Sure, yep.
Once again, good evening. My name's Polly Gowanlock. I just want to say something about the traffic. I lived in California for 35 years. There's no traffic in East Aurora. Okay, there's very little traffic in East Aurora. When you have highways with 5 lanes of traffic going in each direction and everybody is going 70 or 80 miles an hour, and you're trying to change lanes to get off because your exit is a quarter of a mile ahead, you're flat out of luck. So what do? You go to the next exit, you turn around, and you come back. Traffic in East Aurora, in my opinion, is not an issue, coming from California and the kinds of traffic that we dealt with in San Francisco, LA, San Diego, all of those big cities. There is no traffic in East Aurora.
Thank you.
There's a race.
Hi, thank you. Mary McCutcheon, I live on Sycamore Street, and I am among many other seniors in the village who probably will not be able to live in our homes all that much longer because the house that's over 100 years old is a lot of upkeep. I just can't do it anymore. And so senior apartments are, I think, a very big necessity in the village, as you heard at the last meeting. I'm certainly not married to where they occur. However, the only study that I'm aware of is what was presented at the last board meeting from the Young Corporation, who did an excellent presentation and a very thorough study from what I could hear. If there is some other place that's been identified, I think it would have been nice to have that information for all of us who were here for that presentation. So certainly it's not a perfect solution, but it is certainly a very good start at having some senior apartments that are accessible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Colopy, Chair of the Historic Preservation Commission. Senior apartments aren't just about having a shower stall that is accessible, about not having stairs to climb up. It's also about what is the accessibility to the community for the seniors. The portion out on Quaker Road, I think is very isolating. There is no public transportation. It is not within walking distance of any of the services of the village. Leaving a 100-year-old home in the village and then going to live in an isolated, sterile apartment, well, you're still in the village, but can you access the things that make village life wonderful? I would urge the village board to consider the location of this, that it is spot zoning, and also that to reflect upon the comprehensive plan study that will be going on to identify a more suitable site for senior housing and a more suitable way of integrating senior housing into the life of the village. Thank you.
I'm Jane Rademacher, and I was at the last meeting. And apparently, some of the people were not at the last meeting to see the presentation, where Young's Development did say that they would have probably a shuttle van that would take people across the street to Tops, to all the other stores there, walking distance to Barbell, whatever. And as far as the traffic goes, from people who were complaining about Mill Road and Quaker Road, there's more than one way to get into the village other than Mill Road and Quaker Street. There's Beach, there's Sweet. A lot of those people that live out there, they don't have to come to that intersection of Mill and Quaker Road. So as far as that traffic goes, I think that's nonsensical, and people just need to use one of those other roads to get into the village. You know, I might be probably maybe one of the younger ones that would want one of these apartments. I have one of those over 100-year-old homes that I'm not going to be able to age in much more than maybe 10 years. I'm making plans for my future because I don't have children to take care of me. And like I said, but the last time, I don't want to leave East Aurora. I've grown up here. My family's grown up here. We've been citizens. I love my village, and I love my town. I love my people who I live around. And like I said, we need to have something like this. And now, as far as manufacturing out there, apparently that land has been open for somebody to come there and manufacture for, what 20 years or something like that. Nobody wants it. It's a perfect place. It's quiet back there, and it is accessible to all the village stuff if you want, you know, through a shuttle or your own car, your bicycle, and your legs. It's a perfect place. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. I need to speak again. We keep saying senior housing. I think we really need to talk about this as affordable housing, because there's not only a lot of seniors in our village that need to downsize and to get into something that is perhaps more affordable for them, but that we also have younger people who don't have a place to go. We have mothers with children who don't have a small townhouse to perhaps move into, or an apartment. We don't have young men who are graduating from law school or who are just doing any kind of a job whatsoever. They don't have to be in a particular level of society. But we need housing in general that makes it more affordable to stay in our village and support our village businesses. And so by just limiting ourselves to that section, which is way out, really out of the context of the village, and in terms of walkability, and in terms of just getting there. I mean, I would like us to think about land that we have in the village that makes it much easier for us to accommodate a greater number of people rather than just one society of our being. Obviously, I am a senior, so that is important to me as well. And we can't all afford to spend $800,000 on a townhouse, which is what we all have going up in the village right now. So I would really like us to think in terms of affordable housing for all segments of our society versus just one. And this is very limiting out there, very limiting indeed. So I would like that to be considered as well. Thank you.
Okay, Michelle Parrish, 854 Lawrence Avenue. I'm a little confused on where else you would put this, even though I'm not for it, sorry. But there's land across from Parkdale, but I don't know where else we would put affordable senior housing. I get that they want it, you know, I'm senior, I'm in there too, but, and I will be moving eventually also. But I'm still raw from Pine Street, 0 Pine Street, so that's a rub. But also, you know, I look at the town. We've got the town of Aurora too that feeds the village. It comes in, we all come in and feed the village. It's like there's tons of land out there, not that I want to fill the town with stuff either, but there's tons of land. Why do we have to cramp it in someplace where we're spot zoning again? And we're creating this situation because here it is. The traffic over there, it was funny, we did this whole traffic thing and people did comment on the road and Jewett home because there are so many roads coming in there. The traffic over there is a nightmare. I think it is. You have everybody from all directions coming in, try and get out of Pondbrook, try and get out. It's a mess over there. Now we're going to add, we could add another, what, 240 cars coming in and out every day on that area? You've got to be kidding. To me, it's an overload. It's just an overload. And I think if we're looking at this stuff, and I definitely agree with these ladies, we need senior housing in this village, in this town, in the area. Our seniors want to stay here. They've been the ones supporting this village for 50 years, 60 years. They deserve to stay here. They really do. But is that the right place? I think you really need to think about this, and I'm sure you are. I'm not saying you haven't. But really take a look at this because I'm devastated by 0 Pine Street. Devastated. Unfortunately, that would have been a perfect little pocket place for us to have a little park there. So I just want to be so careful that we're adding all these extra. And can they walk? No, probably a lot of those seniors can't walk to the village anyway at that point. So they can't walk from the town. Walking is not an issue at this point, I don't believe, because half the seniors are not going to be walking to Tops from there and carrying their groceries back later on. They're just not going to. You will need a van. Well, if you build it in the town, you can have a van bringing them in from there too. It doesn't matter your distance. It's just something to think about. I know you're trying to work with the town government also, so it's just something I wish you would all consider and look at before we approve this and jump on this. Thank you.
Yes, good evening, members of the board. Sean Hopkins, and as you'll recall, I'm the attorney for the project at 270 Quaker, and I just want to make a couple of key points. Number one, I want to remind everyone the Planning Commission spent a great deal of time on this. They really worked hard, and they deserve a lot of the credit here, meaning where we started compared to where we're at today in terms of the project, they played a key role, and we do thoroughly appreciate that. Second, unlike many projects, both tonight and at the previous public hearing on June 15th, you've heard those very people that will benefit from this project, seniors that currently reside in the village, speak in favor of it. And I think that's key. It's your constituents themselves that are in support of this project. We have met with each and every person that's wanted to meet about this project, whether it was the neighbors in the Reed Hill subdivision, meeting at the senior center, meeting at existing projects that we have for tours. So we really have done a job. We've tried to be collaborative throughout the whole process. When we look at the parcels, and we presented this on June 15th, there is literally no other parcel in the village of East Aurora today that would be available for this type of project. So while I don't deny that someone in this audience might come up with a location that they think is better, I think the key is to get this senior housing moving now. One of the key points of senior housing that I think is missed oftentimes is what it does to your existing housing stock. Let's face it, people want to live in the village of East Aurora. Why wouldn't they? It's a great place to live. Unfortunately, younger families struggle to find housing, right? Unless you have a certain income and are willing to make an offer that's non-contingent, no inspection, $100,000 over a listing price, it's tough to buy a house. One of the key benefits of senior housing is it allows those individuals that own those older, bigger houses that are getting tougher to maintain, those houses now turn over. The younger families now have an opportunity to move into those houses. So not only does it benefit the seniors that will relocate to this project, it actually benefits your housing stock by opening up more opportunities for existing residents or people that would like to live in the village. Each and every environmental impact has been thoroughly studied: traffic, wetlands, archaeology, sewer, drainage, et cetera, et cetera. All of that documentation has been submitted and available for review. We will be providing a shuttle service. And I'll conclude with the story. So I moved my mom to the village of Williamsville, which is where I live, from the Adirondacks, because she needed to get out of her house. And she was probably about a half mile from Main Street. She had a walker. She had big-time accessibilities issues, including neuropathy in her feet. The main thing, her favorite thing to do in the summer was I would go there and we would walk to Main Street. It might take an hour and a half, but people will walk. They want to be where they live today. They want to go to the same doctor, the same pharmacy, the same grocery store, et cetera, et cetera. So we think this is a great project. Respectfully, we are asking that you approve it. And I do want to also remind everyone, this is not the final step. We still have to go through site plan approval, so there'll be some more vetting of the actual layout and the specifics. But we want to express, again, our appreciation for everyone that's been involved, and we're hoping you'll support it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you to everyone for your comments. With that, we'll move to the consent agenda. We have several items on here. Is anyone like to pull off any of the items on the consent agenda for further review?
I'd like to pull off item Q, mainly because of with Dan here. If we just do a stop sign and not think of possible other things that we could do there, or we could start the process of putting a stop sign there, and then Dan comes back and says, you know what, this would be a great place for such and such a thing. And then we've already put some resources into putting a stop sign there when we can be directing it to something that is then more bikeable or walkable or whatever, to make it a bluer zone.
Sure, we'll pull Q, put it into official considerations. Any other items? Okay. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to pass the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cameron. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Root. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Now, anyone who wanted to get out of here and go set up for the World Cup is allowed to do so because those items have passed. Next up, the official considerations. I'm going to actually take maybe the easier one so I don't forget it after a more difficult conversation. If we start with the permission for the mayor to sign a permit with the Erie County DPW to install an all-way stop at the corner of Center and South Street. Trustee Bojanowski has taken this off the consent agenda to consider. I think it's a good point. If we want to, we did not hold a public hearing also specific to this area. We did have members of the public come that spoke about it when we were speaking about Pine Street. I don't see any hurry with this. It hasn't had a stop sign for quite some time. Any comments over there in the?
We were just discussing the length of time that it would take to put a mini circle or something like that in there, that if you did want a counting measure in the next year or 6 or 7 months, you probably would want to consider at least a temporary stop sign there until something different could be done. Just an idea.
Yeah.
That would be my
Appreciate
comment
that.
as well, is putting it in now, and then if it needs to change in the future, it can. But it doesn't seem like, this isn't a big monetary, put a stop sign in, right? Cost-wise?
Yeah, 3 sides, yeah, it's not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thought. I think it's a fine Band-Aid from a cost efficiency standpoint, at a minimum.
Yeah, I agree. It's a step in the right direction. It may change. That is a good point. I think it's good that we talk about it. But yeah, I'd rather have the stop sign there than nothing.
Care to defend yourself?
I mean, I think we could think of other things that, like, are also pretty doable. Like in Europe, they have mirrors where you can actually see, because like the issue there is the blocking of vision when you're on south, and maybe something like a mirror instead of a stop, because I'm just concerned of the stopping and then what it happens to then the traffic on the other end by Beach and the Legion. But, I mean, these are things that Dan might even come up with. But I mean, I don't know what, if you put something up and then people are expecting it still there and then it's all of a sudden taken down, how does that affect? Because if you change the mindset of somebody, we have a temporary thing up for a year and then it turns out, oh, we have a better idea here, and then we take away the stop sign. I mean, that could even happen anywhere with any of the other blue zone sections that Dan is looking at.
I would say that if nothing else, I like it for experimentation. We've had a lot of stop signs floated in the first several meetings we've had here in the first 3 months, and we've had a lot of speculation about what we think the impact of those will be. I don't hate this as a small intervention that we can monitor. It doesn't have to be forever. I think there will be an issue of change management regardless, whether we put this up or not put it up, or there's a longer-term solution in the future. I'm in favor of putting it in, and we can see. And if it ends up being a mistake, it's a very light fix to take down, and then we see what the traffic impact has been. Because I agree with you. I think there could be a traffic backup there. We had a neighbor talk during the Pine meeting about having a lot of noise nuisance from stop signs. We could have residents complain about that. But I think we've had a lot of speculation about what could happen from stop signs, and I think we should put one in this spot in a pretty low-impact area and see what happens.
The other concern that I have is that we are trying, with the blue zone, a big aspect of that is longevity of your life. And then by putting in extra stop signs, that you waste more in terms of emissions, stopping and starting again. Mm-hmm. So I think that it might be maybe a little short-sighted without actually like looking at it holistically with everything else that will be going on with the other blue zone stuff. But
I mean, I personally have a problem waiting 2 weeks to see what Dan has to say and bring in people from the public to speak specifically about this, but whatever the board majority wants, I don't really feel as strongly as Trustee Bojanowski about this, but I think that waiting 2 weeks would not be a huge issue unless there's something with the timing that would just the 2-week delay.
I'm okay with waiting and then maybe reaching out to the residents over there who will hear the effects of this stop and start.
I would say the only time pressure is it would be good to have up for the start of the school year, since that's when we see quite a bit more traffic going down center towards the high school. So if this doesn't impact that timeline, I think that's the moment when it would have the greatest effect. So sure, I would say let's wait 2 weeks and get some comment, and then if that still gives Jeff and team time to put it up before the beginning of September, I'm all for it.
how long does it usually take to put something up?
We just gotta call underground and order the signs, a couple days.
Chief Welsh?
I just want to say, from the safety committee standpoint, when we get these recommendations and they come to the board and they ask us to review them, a lot of times we send them out for traffic studies, and in this instance, this is a county traffic study, and they did do a traffic study, and I think the thing to remember at the end of this is that they're coming back saying that we do recommend signage because of a reason, and the reason here is the pitch of the bank, the sight lines, so there's safety issues involved as well. So I think you take into consideration emissions and you take into consideration vehicles backing up, but you're getting a recommendation from vetted highway engineers who are saying, yes, we do see a safety issue here. A stop sign, a three-way intersection or a three-way stop is safer than what we currently have.
So does that leave us open to, they recommended it, we said no, something happens?
We are on notice of a potential safety issue. Here's a question. If we were to approve this and receive the permit, does that mean we have to put it up?
Well, I believe at this point, we've asked them for a traffic study. They've conducted a traffic study. They've identified that it meets the rubric of, for whatever reason, in their determination of why it meets the minimum qualifications for that to be a three-way stop. And based on their feedback to you on why they feel it meets the qualifications, at that point, you make a decision. In this case, I have to go back to the email, but I believe the engineer outlines, sight distance and the pitch of the banks and pulling out of the Legion there. So I think there is some safety conscious liability there to some degree. I don't think you have to act on this in the next 2 weeks because we just got this notice and, we can still brainstorm on it. But it's something I don't think I would ignore going forward based on what we've received from them.
Yeah, again, I don't have an issue with the stop sign, but I also prefer to have more input rather than less. And so I have no problem waiting the 2 weeks because we did not actually have a hearing about this. We didn't send code Reddit to that neighborhood. It was supposed to be Pine only, and then we just had people show up for that. So, again, I think the 2 weeks is a good balance. We can send out the public, doesn't need to be a public hearing, but we can do a request for public comment and solicit any information over there. I don't see a path where we probably wouldn't go with the stop sign, but maybe there's an outpouring of public opinion that people don't want it.
Especially if there are Calabrese considerations, though, if we have a known risk.
So if you're still addressing the safety of the situation, do you need to have the stop sign there? Because what I was thinking about with Europe and the big large mirrors where you're driving, the angle of the mirror allows you to see what's coming down from center from the high school, and then you're able to actually decipher when you can go or not. Do you know that, Chief? If you're addressing it if you're addressing the safety in a different way.
Yeah.
The thing I always maintain is that we're a safety committee, that we refer to experts in that regard. I don't build streets. We just enforce the laws on the streets. So that's why we ask the county who owns the road to conduct those traffic studies. In their letter to Maureen, they specifically state you may affix, I believe it's 3 stop signs. They don't give another option. That's not to say we couldn't go back and say, hey, look, are there other options for calming measures here? But in the letter, it specifically states the village is allowed at the village cost to erect 3 stop signs at that intersection. So they're really not giving a choice here, but that's not to say if we asked, they wouldn't.
And, yeah, again, I'm comfortable waiting the 2 weeks, but
Is that something that we can also ask to see if that
we can ask, yeah. We can appoint Trustee Bojanowski be the chair of the
There we go.
subcommittee.
There we go. So I move we table to next meeting, open up a request for public comment, put it on the agenda then.
Except you never opened it.
Yeah, we never opened it.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
have to take any, yeah. But I want to hear are we okay with that then?
Yeah,
Waiting?
that's fine.
Yeah?
I have reservations only because of safety concerns, and I want to trust that they are doing the right studies to initially put those. So I would hate for anything to happen within the 2 weeks if we can get that going right away. But if the residents that live on the corner aren't even aware that they're going to be placed, we need to make an effort and reach out to them to let them know to see if there's any pushback.
All right, we did receive this letter on Friday, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quick. Then that's fair.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, no movement on that. Next 4 items, which we have here, A, B, C, D, I think we should maybe take together to have a conversation as the board to talk about this. I think that it is important to understand what it is that we're approving or not approving tonight, because it is, if approved, has implications outside of the current applicant's lot. And so it has implications for other parts of the village. This is the rezoning of a lot. It is not the approval of a specific project. So I think it'd be good to hear everybody's thoughts on this particular, what I would say probably a group more or less into the 4 following items. So if anyone wants to start? Want me to? I mean, I can start. If you want me to start, I can start, but
I mean, basically what you just said is this is just the rezoning. For them to do the entire project, they still need to get site plan approval, special use permit, and the environmental review approved by the building department and us. So this is just the first step on what could be on that site. I know a lot of residents are very in favor of this. There's not really any options or developers looking at something like this right now. It's something I'm comfortable with right now, knowing we have the opportunity to relook at this once they submit the full package for the plan.
Yeah, I remember the planning board meeting when this was first brought up. They were talking about the current way it's zoned right now and the different buildings, different infrastructure that could go back there and the amount of traffic that could go back there, meaning trucks, freights, everything like that. And it was on the market for quite a long time and no one put a bid in. So I think this is a great use of space, and my heart goes out to all the individuals of the residents that want to stay in the village. That's what I care about, is that they still get to go to their doctors, see their family, and see the children here. Yeah.
I will concur with a lot of what's been said. I appreciate everyone's perspectives on this and the passion it's drawn out of everybody. I said this at the last meeting. I appreciate the journey for echoing it again today. I am concerned about housing capacity here. I appreciated Saxon's comments about affordability across the board, not just for seniors. It is acutely a problem with the senior population too. And I am excited about the opportunity, when we see more of this come through, the potential for this to create more housing stock in the village, which again, this displaces some people into new areas, opens up existing housing stock, and also I think puts us on a path that we can reflect in the comprehensive plan that puts affordable housing at the forefront and allows us to continue to build in that direction.
I talked enough right there.
I was going to make that joke. Yeah.
I mean, I'm generally speaking, I am against rezoning, not with this project, I'm generally speaking against rezoning. My voting record will bear that out. This is a massive community need, and that's something I've heard, when we've gone door to door, which I've done a number of times now, running for office, the top thing I've heard about when I speak to seniors randomly at their homes is the need for senior housing. It's been true for many, many years. And as I said, there aren't many parcels in the village that are appropriately sized for this, and none that wouldn't involve like knocking down a bunch of houses or something like that. I'm not sure where else we could do it. I think that having a shuttle van bus is critical. I agree. I said the last time I have a lot of concerns about seniors walking across 20A. I have concerns about me walking across 20A. But there's got to be some place to go. And I think it's just heartbreaking hearing so many of you come forward saying, we don't want to leave the village, but I can't be in my home, and I don't have another option. I think it's a massive community need.
Again, and the last time we had an industry come in and move into that area was on Commerce Way for self-storage, and that is not really a huge need that I see for the community, and it doesn't create many jobs or places to live. And that, if I was going to pick an industry, I think that's probably what would move in there, and that is not going to serve our seniors well, as housing would be.
That's true. I think the other thing, if we were to have a typical standard sort of old school manufacturing place move in, that would increase the traffic more, I believe, than senior housing would.
And in dedicated times.
During certain times.
Yeah, in the same way that it does today with what's existing.
Yep. The only thing I would emphasize in this is that there was a great deal of comment about walkability and accessibility to that area, and I think that's true. I appreciate that Young Development is thinking through that already and is going to provide services for the development. I think that's wonderful. I know I've spoken with the head of the senior center. She is also interested in running their own shuttle. She's mentioned that a number of times. And also that these things are in some ways mutually exclusive, right? We have a housing problem and we have a walkability problem. We had a 2-hour-long seminar tonight and we have 2 more meetings about walkability and bikeability. That's true whether this development goes in or not, right? This is another thing that we can consider when it comes to walkability and movement throughout the village. It doesn't mean that we have to solve that problem with this parcel, with this project. That's part of a more holistic, healthy movement plan for the village.
Yeah, of course, we would like to be in a position where we have a comp plan further along or enacted. I agree with Trustee Cameron that rezoning is not something that we take lightly, that my voting record also shows that, because I do believe strongly that when we have a very good comp plan that has public input, that we have the basis to stick by that. This board has been tasked with 2 very easily achievable goals: stopping all development and developing senior housing. Which is quite the position to be in. I think that in this case, we are zoning from a more, I guess egregious, maybe is the word, zone in industrial down to a residential zone. The Planning Commission did go through this and look at the neighboring area to show that there are other residential lots in the area. Our decision is not to approve the project. We have a long ways to go. And I think you guys know from my time in the town that we don't take that easy, even when it's the rock. And I was thinking it was a little bit too much, but so those are the discussions that we have to have, and we on this board do need to ensure that the community's input is put into this project, and that the voice of everybody here is taken into consideration as we move towards that a final decision regarding the project as a whole. But as far as the rezoning itself, we're coming down to a residential. There are restrictions that, if not met, would mean that it would go back. And so I think that with that, I also agree that approving this would be the right decision to make, both the rezone and the subdivision. But with the caveat that this is not an approval of the project. This is an approval of the rezone that will permit the project to move forward. And I do think that we need to start having those more detailed conversations, if that passes, to make sure that we're looking at the number and the traffic study, and maybe additional traffic studies that even we can do, because there are issues, and we hear it with the community, that we need to think about. So senior housing is a need, not just affordable senior housing, but also market rate senior housing and all sorts of things. With that, I think that I'm comfortable moving forward with approving all 4 of these.
I decided I did have something. The conditions that the Planning Commission added, is that something that if we're approving, do we approve with those conditions, or do we also need to add those same conditions to our approval to make it like a extra binding, like, hey, we're watching you do these things?
They're within the resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, the conditions are in the local law, right? And the resolution?
In both
Local
the
law.
resolutions, they're listed in there.
Yep.
The local law and the.
And just so the conditions that are on here, I can read them. The project shall be limited exclusively to market rate senior housing for residents age 55 and older, which shall be incorporated as a deed restriction on the property. This was approved by, the property shall revert to its current zoning classification if the preceding condition is not satisfied. The instrument containing the foregoing restrictions shall be submitted to the village attorney for approval and consent prior to recording. Okay, we have a World Cup game to watch, so with that, if there are no other comments, then can I have a motion to approve a determination of non-significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act in the matter of the rezoning of 270 Quaker Road by Young Development, 260 Quaker Road LLC?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Camp. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by deputy mayor Root. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. This is the local law, right?
Yeah, we only do roll call.
Yep, so item B, may I have a motion to approve the local law to rezone 270 Quaker Road?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Kemp. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Bojanowski, and roll call.
Can I just, sorry, quick question. Do we have to say that we're approving it as written, or does that approval just automatically have the, what's written in the agenda?
It's not what's written in the agenda, it's what I updated and sent.
Yeah, that.
I have always done it this way, so.
Okay.
Kevin tells me no.
No, I know sometimes we say as written, and sometimes we're just okay to do the motion, so that's why I was
Say
checking.
as written, and it helps us out.
No, just kidding. As written.
And I move that we approve it as written.
Yeah, your motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I still second that, same thing.
Just making sure we cover our bases here.
Yep.
Cover
Oh, you want to do the roll?
Yeah, roll call.
Not that anything's ever happened before.
Trustee Cameron,
Aye.
trustee Bojanowski,
Aye.
trustee Camp,
Aye.
trustee Vijay,
Aye.
trustee Root,
Aye.
Mayor Wojcinski.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Can I have a motion to approve a determination of non-significance pursuant to seeker in the matter of the minor subdivision of 270 Quaker Road by Young Development 260 Quaker Road LLC?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Camp. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Vijay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Finally, may I have a motion to approve a minor subdivision of 270 Quaker Road by Young Development 260 Quaker Road LLC?
So moved.
Motion by, I'm going to give it to trustee Cameron, because you've been
Monogamy.
You've been a hot
Bogart
stretch
motion.
here, yeah. Can I have a second? May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Root. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. We do not have any old business. We don't have any new business, which means that our next meeting is going to be excruciating, but such is life. Open it up now to speakers and communications. Anyone who'd like to speak on any issue, including those off the agenda? Come on up.
Joanne Ryan, 211 Porterville. I just have a question, this is a minor subdivision. I would think this would be a major subdivision. And so I don't understand, because I believe a minor subdivision, they don't have to change the infrastructure, and a major, they do. So I guess that's where I'm just confused. So that's why I was, I think that with the volume of the apartments that are going to go in, if that's what they're proposing, I just want to make sure that we are very, very aware of the minor versus the major and the number, and also all of the studies. I want to make sure that we have all of the right studies done before we go ahead with what you're saying. I agree with you, Luke. I think we have to really be careful of what we're going to approve that's going to go down there. And I think senior housing is something. Affordable housing, I like that better. Affordable housing, because I could see myself maybe in 15 years looking for a place to go. But like I said, I want to make sure I feel like we've just have been kind of bulldozed over a little bit, and I just want to make sure that we are very careful of what we're going to get. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you. I'll comment on that and just say that we will get back to you on the minor versus major. Yeah. Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Can I still speak?
Wait, you
Yep, just 1 second, sorry.
There's been a lot of
Hold on just 1
discussion.
second, sorry.
There's been a lot of discussion about whether this project is a minor or a major subdivision. The village's code is very clear in its description of what meets the criteria of a minor subdivision and what meets the criteria of a major subdivision. This project, if it moves forward as proposed, is a major development. This is a 2-lot minor subdivision with no extension of infrastructure that's required. So this meets all of the criteria of a minor subdivision for a major development. So That's all I have.
Okay. And I do, I mean, I agree that, yes, I think that there are a lot of things and that a lot of steps we have, and it's a lot of work that we need to put in together. So we really appreciate everybody coming forward and giving your thoughts, because there are going to be things that we don't catch as well, and we really appreciate everybody coming to talk about it. Sorry.
There were just two things. I heard someone say that there were going to be
I need it
two.
for the record.
I'm sorry?
I need your name again for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carol Beach, Beech. Somebody mentioned 240 apartments. There's 118 that are going there. There are two sizes, a one-bedroom and a two-bedroom. The one-bedroom is about 600 square feet, and the largest, the two-bedroom, is only 750 at the most square feet. So I don't know, maybe they're thinking that these are going to be like huge townhouses. That's not the case. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Yeah, but again, we did not approve the project, so it was a, yeah.
Hi, thank you for your time and consideration. Ann Schwartz, 677 East Fillmore. I'm wondering if you could help. Vidler's guides all the tour buses to park on East Fillmore. Today there was one, sometimes there's three. At different times, they keep the buses running. They just stand for an hour or so, and then they drop off the people. I'm just requesting that we find a more appropriate place for these big tour buses to park while they're standing. I thought maybe they continue down Riley. Does Fisher Price have a lot of parking? I'm requesting some help with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, what I can say is that we've actually been looking for better locations, including public restrooms where we could encourage tourism. That's sort of a longer-term goal for that, but we'll look into that for sure and see what they're doing, and as at a minimum, have them shut off the buses. But we'll take a look at that. Thanks for letting us know. Ryan's got a big driveway. I think he was going to let them park there.
Come on down.
Hi, Mr. Mayor and Board. My name is Lisa West, and this is my neighbor, Steve Pattison. We both live on Buffalo Road, and it's beyond dilapidated. I sent you an email, Mr. Mayor. And when I say we, I include my neighbors in it, too. It's a collective effort, because there's several of us. This past May, I sent the village board an email regarding the condition of the street. And I've lived on the street for 35 years. Give or take about 3 or 4 years after moving in, they did resurface it, but it didn't stick, and then subsequently patching ensued, which has continued up until this point. So you can only imagine, after 32 years of constantly snow and the plows up and down the street, how well this patching has worked, which hasn't worked at all. Buffalo Road is the main route in and out of the village. The traffic on this road is intense. It ranges from cars to large semis to tractor trailers, and the noise and the road debris is intense on this road. My windows rattle when large trucks go over, and I've got new windows. I just replaced them. So when I said a minute ago, this road is beyond dilapidation, you have some text of what I'm talking about, the way it is to live on Buffalo Road. Mr. Mayor, your insightful reply to the email I sent stated that the road work falls under the jurisdiction and responsibility of Erie County, and discussions were afoot. Steve and I are very eager to inquire about the discussions that you might have had, hopefully you did have, since the email I sent you went out. We want our street to be brought to the same standard as other similar streets, and I'm probably going to regret saying this, like Olean and Pine Street, which I know Pine Street's been a big sore point for a lot of people because of the speeding and the traffic, but that's different. Our road actually has had quite a lot of speeding on it. I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about the street getting improved. We need major reconstruction. We need a new road. We need drainage. We need curbs because we don't have any curbs. We haven't had curbs in years. And boy, it would be great to have new lights on that street too, because it would be so handsome for people entering the village to see this, especially given what it looks like now. So in closing, I just want to say that East Aurora has undergone a major resurgence. We've got new businesses and restaurants, venues, festivals, you know, you name it. There's a vibe going on here that people want to be part of. And this road does not make a good first impression. It doesn't make any good impression at all. And a lot of our neighbors have put much time and effort and money into improving their houses. And it's sad and it's so hard for all of us who live on it. So we really deserve a nice, quiet, peaceful, safe street to live on. And so hence why we wondered what the discussions were all about. But Steve did have
Yeah, I'm just going to
some other
follow up on
issues
that.
too.
I haven't been here 35 years, but I've been driving through East Aurora for 54 years for business. I travel 17 states. I'm a builder. At my age, I'm still building. People, some of you know me, that I do a lot of historical restoration.
He put my
of
windows
homes.
in.
Yeah. And one of the reasons I moved here from D.C., because I was building homes down there, doing restoration, is the quaintness of the town, the history value. But when you sit Buffalo Road, #1 travel road into this town, and you can sit there and count cars. Okay, maybe it's a lot of mode, people coming in, but it's a joke what that road looks like. To enter the town we live in should be a statement that, hey, and I've had an opportunity, I still do it. I work from here to Syracuse to Northwest Pennsylvania, the historical restoration in old towns. I don't know how they do it. Their highways are beautiful. They got curbs. They got new 18th century, 19th century street lights. Towns that are nowhere near what we are. They could do it. Eden, go down to Eden, go down to Lawton's. If anybody knows where that is, North Collins. Their roads are beautiful, county roads. This is a county road, why can't we get it? They got $98.4 million of infrastructure money from the government, free. Where'd that go? Sure didn't come to this town. And it's just an embarrassment. In 17, when I bought the house, we moved in 16, if you guys have driven down Buffalo Road, you know the mounds that are off the curbs. From the sidewalk to the road, it has risen 18 to 20 inches.
Yeah, the right of
You can't
ways
mow
are
the
a
grass
joke.
because you'd fall off and get killed. I actually paid $3,370 in 2017 to have one section lowered, road level. And every year since, I've averaged $630 to $790 a year to repair it. Plows run over it, 4-foot wide, I guess the pictures, 4-foot wide tire tracks, which is double wheels.
All the time,
Destroyed. Every year destroyed.
winter.
We shouldn't have to do
We
that.
see it.
Shouldn't have to do it. Somebody in this town needs to give it a county. Say, hey, take some of your money and put it here. That's what we need.
Have the discussions gone well, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, so when your comment is done, we can comment, but yeah, if you have anything else to,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, it is not currently on the county list for rebuild, for a complete rebuild. We are pushing to have that happen, as you can tell from all the other issues that were happening the 2 hours before this meeting, and during this meeting, we have been talking to them about a number of different issues. We have had a lot of positive solutions to those issues, and so this is one that we're going to continue to deal with. But it is a county road, and we do need them to be participating in this. So we're meeting with them quarterly. It's on our list of things that we discuss, and so it's not on the rebuild for this year. Can't lie and say that something's going to be happening, but we've got it on our radar. One of the things from our previous session here is trying to find some traffic calming measures and things like that we can then also propose to the county. I had always thought it was a state road because it's a route, but it's not, it's a county road. So I think as far as the traffic and the speed and those types of issues, that's something that we can help them with and propose some solutions, but we're going to need them to put it on the schedule. So yes, we don't have a response, but we have been talking about it, and they are aware.
Because you're only talking less than a half a mile.
Yeah.
of road.
So what we've had in East Aurora, if you think of the county roads that they have done, Center actually is deteriorating now pretty good, but Pine Street was just a complete redo. Maple Road is next. And so we are told that we are getting our share, but, Buffalo will be,
So maybe next year?
I don't know how quick it works, but we'll keep on pushing and we'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
any other comments? Okay. With that, department head report. Anything over there in the DPW?
We're just wrapping up on paving. We got Crescent to do, hopefully get it done this week, and then we're really gonna push on road striping this week. Bring the guys in early, get Gray Street, Douglas, Main Street. So we're gonna go on that. We're gonna be finishing up that bathroom at Hammond Park. Everything's on order, so that everything should be in very soon, and we'll be working on that.
Great. Pat was saying he wants that to go another year without being done, but
Maybe I will.
Over at the police department, July 3rd was a big one. I think our parade was twice as long as normal, but that was for America 250. There were some pain points this year, certainly with their parade, but we got through it, and it was safe. That was the best part. Last month, the officers were aggressively working overtime. We have a Governor's Traffic Safety Council grant that was applied for and approved, so it targeted aggressive driving, and they wrote quite a lot of tickets last month on that. This week I'll be interviewing for my retiring senior police clerk and a retiring police officer position, so it'll be a busy week with interviews. And today the state announced the law enforcement tech grant was released with the details with that, so we will be looking to certainly apply for that. And right now on the radar would be to replace our dated car cameras and body-worn cameras. Our current hardware and software is about 10 years old, and if you think about a home computer being 10 years old, things are getting rough. So if we can get enough funding through that grant to be able to replace that stuff, hopefully that'll buy us another 10 years. And then finally, it rained today and the roof leaked. No, I'm just kidding. That's all I have.
that's going to come back to bite him later. Okay, Planning Commission, anything, Jeff?
No.
Meeting tomorrow, and then 7:30 we'll have a presentation. That's great. Engineer, John, nothing tonight. Code Enforcement Officer Cassidy, nothing. She said she was going to attend, absolutely, the World Cup event, 100% sure, 100%. Anybody I missed? No? Okay. Board members.
Maureen?
Oh, Maureen, always clerk treasurer. Taxes.
Taxes are late, but get them in if you still have them due, and we're working on our audit.
Yes, that'll be fun.
It's my favorite time of year.
It's the Christmas for clerk treasurers. Trustee Wojciechowski.
Nothing.
Trustee Camp.
It's already 1-0 Belgium. So we're strongly looking into a new name for waffles, depending on how the next 80 minutes go. But we'll report back on that next week.
Freedom Waffles.
Freedom Waffles.
Trustee Vijay.
Oh, well, since last meeting was my first one back, I have a long list of things to go over.
Okay, let's hear it.
But I guess we could do it at the next meeting. That's all.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Root.
I don't have anything.
Trustee Cameron.
Good for tonight, thanks.
Okay, I also will close with that. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Vijay. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Camp. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone want to ride on my bike?
They are getting us all.